And it's the roughest track of the year. You've got to be in great shape, which these guys are. The last thing is adapt to the sand. Whether it's you or your bike, you've got to get across the finish line.
32nd car to fly racing is sideways. The gate drops. We're underway at Southwick. And another good start for Baggett on the 4. But Musquin's going to try to edge him out of the 25. It's side by side. And the motorsport.com whole shot goes to Musquin. He was down early in our first race this morning, but he's up front this time.
We saw a yellow bike down the first turn. We're getting confirmation it's Justin Bogle, the number 19. He went down, but this is where Musquin went down in the first moto right there. This time around, much better. He's got about 39 less riders in front of him. So great start for Musquin, exactly what he wanted. And Musquin has the pace to go and beat, I think, all these guys outright. And for Baggett, another good start. But the question is, where is your Moto 1 winner and points leader, Eli Tomac?
Yeah, so Tomac going to have to run the gauntlet here, starting in 10th. While two of the fastest contenders, there he is on that green number 3. All the fast riders are up in front of him, including that number 2 of Cooper Webb, who was 3rd in the first moto. So Tomac goes to work. The 14 of Cole Seeley on the factory Honda is the first rider he has to work on. See Justin Barsha here in 3rd. That's the Joe Gibbs Racing machine, backed by Auto Trader and Monster Energy. Hey, Baggett, sore thumb and all after a crash last week, wants the lead back from Marvin Musquin.
Yes, he does. He knows points are crucial, but Musquin's in the battle as well. He wants his title. Barsha, good start again. We know he's from the area, likes this sort of New England type sand. Musquin now got a little bit of breathing room. Like you said, for a minute there, Baggett was just breathing down his throat. Oh, and Barsha even thought about going after Blake Baggett for second.
Yeah, Barsha on the attack right now on that yellow 51. Around the outside. He's going to switch back to the inside and try to use the momentum.
It's a drag race now down Henry Boulevard. Who's going to get the better drive? Baggett got the power to the ground earlier. You see these riders going over those rollers and basically what we call scrubbing, trying to keep the bike low, get the wheels back on the ground, because obviously you can't pick up speed if you're airborne.
So Baggett has to deal with Barsha, and that's allowing Marvin Musquin on the Red Bull KTM to get away. Baggett out of Southern California, but has a state-of-the-art riding and training facility down in Florida, so he's got sand experience.
And then how about this? You got the Rockstar Husqvarna riders of Martin Dalbalos in 4th and Dean Wilson in 5th. So quite a spread. Then don't look over your shoulder. The red background, that means he's the points leader. Eli Tomac, grabs the tear off. Well, we said if you don't get that start, vision starts becoming a bit of an issue, but these guys ripping off tear-offs to get that clear vision back.
So Baggett trying to gang up on the Husky teammates here. You got the Ecuadorian Davalos and the rider out of Scotland, Wilson on the 15, tries to get Davalos. And they're basically the width of 2 bikes because they're side by side, so there's no place for Tomac to pass. Yeah,
Tomac now just trying to figure out, I'm going to go wherever these guys do not go. But what a great start of the race. Little mistake from Wilson. Is that going to open the door for Tomac? No, able to shut the door. Tomac not able to get by. So a lot of different brands up front. We've got 2 KTMs, then a Suzuki, 2 Husqvarnas, then a Kawasaki, Yamaha, and a Honda. So pretty much almost every brand represented in the top 10.
And still battling on the teammates, Davalos and Wilson.
And Wilson got him. Got a good drive around the outside of that corner and set him up to the inside. Davalos wanted to close the door, but Wilson was there. Nothing he could do about it. In the meantime, Tomac's probably thinking, man, I'm not used to being behind these guys that long. Can he get it down here? Martin Davalos didn't take the line away, which I think he should have, because, well, that's why.
Yep, Tomac able to make passes, and that's his specialty, using those big, wide outside lines and just carrying a ton of speed. Let's see if he tries it here again on Wilson. Now, Wilson's a rider who says he does not like riding in the sand and is not a fan of this track, where Tomac says it's one of his favorites. And let's see if Tomac can make it work. Another big outside line coming up here.
Yeah, he makes it try and work there, but seems like when they exit the corner, when you switch over that left-hand side, you don't quite get the drive. Oh, look at Tomac using absolutely every inch of this track. Hey, you can't say it's not from a lack of trying. It's got around Wilson. But Wilson able to get to that turn just ahead of him. Good ride from Dino.
Yeah, Dino needs these types of rides. Hasn't raced at this track since 2011. It's missed so much time with injuries through the years. He's trying to get his racing legs back under him. And he's also trying to hold off Tomac, but to no avail. The number 3 has gone by.
Those 2 things may have been a little too much for Dean Wilson, but the best thing he can do right now is try and latch on to Eli Tomac. If you get passed by the fastest guy on the track, tag him behind him, follow his line, try and mimic what he's doing, because I'm pretty sure Well, whatever he's doing is working. So try and mimic it as best you can.
So Tomac's out of Colorado. Now, you wouldn't think Colorado is a place where you learn to ride sand, but he's actually from the southern tip. Oh, Barsha in third. Just yard sailed it. Huge crash. Luckily, it appears to be okay. But that bike, and they call it swapping. It goes from the left to the right, to the left to the right, and then finally he flips over. Oh, well, that's going to make it a little easier on Tomac. One pass he doesn't have to make.
He has a little replay of it. So you're going to have to look just ahead down the street. Oh, wow.
He fell off the side.
I was going to say, he was off the side of the bike before he went up that drop. So fortunately, it didn't injure him. Dean Wilson has to... Good heads up from Dean Wilson.
There's Ben Schermeyer, the mechanic for Barsha. So he's bummed out. They're running in third, ready to engage in a battle with Tomac. Now Barsha has dropped back to 12th place, picking himself back up. Your leader is Marvin Musquin, the very friendly Frenchman. Started this season off brilliantly, second out of our first race, won round 2, had the points lead. But then he injured his knee and had about 2-3 weeks where he struggled. Last week, started to get back toward the front at Redbud in Michigan, and looks to be back to 100% right now the way he's riding. We'll show you the start here with our motorsport.com whole shot replay.
Yeah, you saw good to see Marvin in the middle of the screen. Had a good drive, good angle in the first turn. Brakes just enough so he doesn't run it way too wide. Dakota Alex got a good start again. This time he keeps it on 2 wheels. That was good. There you see Justin Bogle going down.
Oh, look how close it was between the 2 KTMs. Musquin just gets that motorsport.com hold shot. Now, it's 2 different teams. Red Bull KTM is the factory official KTM team, and that's what Musquin is riding here with the number 25. Baggett's team backed by Rocky Mountain and WPS Fly Racing, but it's a support team. And in this sport, there's different levels of support, but KTM generally rolls out the best stuff even for their support team. So there's not a big difference in equipment between these teams, even though the bikes look different as far as the graphics and sponsors.
Yeah.
Nothing in it right now. Musquin, though, doing a great job pulling away.
That's the biggest difference, like you said, is the graphics. The bikes are identical pretty much.
So that means there's 2 KTMs up front, but can they hold off the always tough Eli Tomac, who's closing quickly in third? Musquin trying to hold on.
Wait, Tomac is just railing these corners. He is really just trying to carry that speed. This is maybe the first inside line we've seen on the lap. So Tomac choosing the longer way around. That's a little smoother, you could say. But you got to really attack the outside and carry your speed, because if you average it out, if you ran all the outsides as opposed to the inside, you're probably doing about an extra couple football fields, worth of distance on the track.
And still not too far behind Marvin.
I was just going to say, I think with the pressure from Tomac, Baggett's picked it up, and now he's just kind of creeping back up to the back end of Musquin. So potentially a 3-way battle for the lead.
And another outside for Tomac. It's not so fast in the corner, but down that straightaway, he picks up so much speed. He gets whatever distance he loses there back. He's going to the outside again.
Yeah, that's Tomac's sort of MO. When in doubt, gas around the outside.
Going to work on Baggett for second. And they're headed through the finish line jump here. Tomac railing it again. Oh, a little bit of off-the-track action there. Lost traction and missed the line that he wanted. Has to reset.
And you can go off the track as long as you don't gain an advantage, which clearly he didn't. And then he goes back to the creative line. It was Marvin that used that in the first moto, and it works to his advantage. But when you're coming through the pack, you get to that point when you're faster than the guys in front, you just go wherever they don't go. So if they go to the inside, go to the outside. If they go to the outside, you have to go to the inside. And then sometimes you have to just try and find a creative line.
And he's definitely trying right now, but Baggett's done a good job responding to it. Ooh. And even closing a bit. There's that section where Barsha went down, and just playing Baggett also. And tomorrow, the Red Bull Signature Series takes you to Austria. 500 riders clawing their way out of the bottom of a quarry to try and conquer the Iron Mountain. It's the Red Bull Hair Scramble from Erzberg tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern on NBC. That's one of the gnarliest motorcycle races of all. Maybe one of the few that's gnarlier than a motocross race at Southwick. Seeing the Legends and Heroes display. Vintage championship motorcycles on display at every round of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Eli Tomac has made the move now on Blake Baggett for second. So there's your lead 3 at this Red Bull Southwick National. Tomac is on a rail from about 10th place to get to second. Can he get Musquin and sweep both of the motos today? First, we'll show you how he passed Baggett.
Yeah, so we've seen this for the first time as well. But Baggett leaves the door open, and well, Tomac does what he normally does, go where the guy in front doesn't, and just he crushed that corner. I mean, absolutely couldn't have done it any better, and probably caught Baggett off guard a little bit. Now watch this. Tomac has got his sights set on Musquin. So pivotal point, because Musquin needs every point he can get. This is a 6-point swing because it's three points difference from first and second. Switch it around, obviously at 6 points. So, you know, not to be too dramatic, but it's pretty crucial for Marvin to try and beat Tomac both points-wise and then mentally. I think it's going to be huge.
And Baggett has dropped out of this battle. It is down to these two, and you can hear the fans of Southwick are loving it. First, they responded to the huge jump that Tomac just invented. Tomac's so good at these outside lines, carries so much extra speed. And he's going to air it out again.
Most guys want to roll off and scrub the jump. Tomac figures he'll just find a new landing spot. And once again he goes, you can hear the New England fans. They're up on their feet. They are pumped up. Musquin looked good in the first moto, came from ways back. Tomac, once he got out front, he stretched it out. It looked like he was just riding at his own pace. Now we're going to see what happens when they both are really pushing the envelope. I mean, look at how they drop Baggett. These two are on rails at the moment.
Such a pivotal point of this race right now. We're going to race for 30 minutes and 2 laps, and you can watch the countdown clock at the top of the screen to when that 2 laps to go sign will come out. So plenty of time for Tomac to work on Musquin to make the pass. But the interesting thing about motocross, the longer you sit behind someone, the more sand you're taking to the face, blocking your vision.
And you can start losing your rhythm. You start following in the guy's lines and pace. Because look, now all of a sudden Tomac is following a little bit more than he was earlier. So maybe just having a little breather. He's figuring, hey, it's not like it's the last lap. I've got a little bit of time. Let me not rush this. Marvin, right when I got to Marvin, I wanted to pass him. He picked it up. Marvin is riding great right now. But one thing I wanted to bring up too, that's another little factor, is Tomac got out front in the first moto, and then he was able to ride at his own pace. And then I think even just was able to slow down at the end and conserve a little energy. It's hot, it's humid, the track is very rough. But for Musquin, he was down. He had to come from way back in the back. He used every ounce of energy he had in that first moto. This is really going to be a true test of these guys' fitness, both mentally and physically.
And these are two of the fittest athletes in any sport, anywhere. Motocross so demanding, and this sand track may be the most demanding of all. Tomac still using the outsides. There's that big jump the crowd likes. He's going to try to rail around the outside.
Musquin is riding as well as I've seen, and he's riding good and aggressive. I'm telling you, he's riding good. Musquin is pushing it for him. He's very cool, calm, and collected. But Tomac just looks like a rubber band that just wants to, you know, get shot into the sky. He's just going for it. His momentum is unreal.
And he's got the inside. He throws it sideways on the jump. No, he lands too rough. Digs into the soil. Musquin still got the inside. Tomac just greased the outside of that corner to take it away.
Right, he even looked over. Musquin now wants to fly right back. The crowd are on their feet. They are pumped up. You see them in the background cheering. Let's be honest, probably more cheering for Tomac, the American, over Musquin. But we said, like you said, the friendly Frenchman, it's going to go the long way around. He's not giving up. Love this fight.
Absolutely, and this is something we haven't seen from Musquin in years past. He's learning to manhandle that big 450 and get aggressive. He's always been great technically and a very efficient rider, but he is willing to hang it out today and try to keep Tomac in sight. And mistakes for both of them.
Yeah, a little mistake from Tomac, but right when that happened, Musquin got a little squirrely coming out of there. If he had a perfect drive, he may have made that happen.
Leaping into these pits down here. Musquin is right there, and the crowd is pumped on it.
They are fired up. And these guys are pushing it to a point where they're going to make mistakes, and it would not surprise me if someone maybe, you know, washes out, meaning lose some traction in the corner and tip over.
But those sand rollers have gotten so deep every lap. They get bigger and bigger. Musquin struggling through there. We're halfway through this 30-minute and 2-lap moto. 15 minutes left. And in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on your insurance. Just call Geico. And there's Tomac airing it out. No, he actually switched it up. Runs the low line down to the inside now.
Well, now he's got clear track. He can run the lines that he wants to run. He's choosing some outside in some areas, and he's going to the inside in some other areas. This corner here, he loves it outside. Watch, just leave the brakes. Hard on the throttle. Woo. They get the cross flag. That means halfway through, and wow, immediately Tomac just putting some distance between. I think Marvin gave it everything he had. It looked to me like it was like he was riding on the edge. Maybe he's just not comfortable with that pace. Figured, hey, I'll just back it down a little bit because, oh no, timing and scoring is showing something a little bit different.
Yeah, we got to see if there's a problem back there. It could be the timing and scoring, transponder not reading, or maybe Musquin. No, there is a problem. Musquin has got an issue. The second place rider, who is riding so brilliantly, is being passed very quickly.
I'm wondering if he didn't aggravate that knee injury. Maybe. Because it doesn't look, well, the shroud's a little loose. I wonder if he fell. I don't see any.
Oh, he's got the leg hanging off.
That's why I said they were pushing so hard.
Yes.
Marvin gave it everything. You got to give him a 10 out of 10 for effort, but
you do see that right side radiator shroud where that Red Bull and KTM logo is, not this side.
Yeah.
See what's flopping there? That's not supposed to do that. And he's still circulating. The privateer Henry Miller just goes by.
Oh, the bike looks twisted. The bike looks twisted. He looks like he went down.
He had to get into the mechanics area, and is he hurt? No, it looks like he's able to walk around, so that's good, but they've got to go to work on that motorcycle. So this is certainly an unscheduled pit stop. They don't stop in motocross normally unless there's a problem. So this is a disaster. Trying to see what they're going to work on here. That's the left side handlebars controls. And that side is the clutch lever. And we have a replay of the crash.
Yeah. Musquin has a big one. Look there. Going away from us. Now watch. He goes into that dip. Gets a little awkward bounce. And watch this. Right towards the hospitality area. And that is a big get off for Marvin Musquin. Thankfully, doesn't appear like anybody.
Yeah, he landed in the flat, didn't get to the fences, and didn't land on anything except dirt. I don't know if he's shaken up or re-injured. Certainly the bike is twisted. That's his wife, Matilda there talking to him. And he is shaken up. And I think actually upset with himself as much as anything. A valiant effort by Marvin Musquin to try to stay in contention today. But it has all come undone with a huge crash while trying to chase Eli Tomac for the lead. So, again, everything rolling Eli Tomac's way. Boy, when you're hot, you're hot. He could not get things. Round 2, round 3, round 4. It seemed like anything that could bite him did. And it has completely twisted the other direction now. Baggett in trouble. Anderson in trouble. Musquin working his way back into contention. Now more problems for him.
Well, you know, there's those years that it works out and those years that it doesn't. I've been on both sides of the fence. There's just been years, even when it doesn't seem like it went perfect, luck kind of went your way, and there were other years where you were probably the fastest guy, and it just seemed like anything that could go wrong did go wrong. That was probably caught Marvin off guard the way he lands that different. As the suspension rebounds, it deflected and he started going left, but that has a slight right kick, so I think it grabbed the front wheel in the right and threw him off the track. And as you can see, the bike's pretty banged up, and I think he's pretty banged up too. I mean, it looked like he landed on his feet, so I'm sure he didn't help that knee situation, but I think the pain is more emotional right now than physical.
Well, especially because this is just adding more to the points lead of Eli Tomac. Southwick give it, then it take it away.
As they come through that section where Marvin ended up going down, and see how it's got a little right kick there, and I think once he lost control, he was heading left, and that track goes right, and that was enough.
Camera. Here's Christian Craig in this moto. Well, at least he didn't go down early. He's running in his solid 7th. Craig, the second-generation rider. His dad, Mike Craig, one of the all-time talents of this sport. And Craig certainly no slouch when it comes to the ability and skills of the motorcycle either. Georgia, what are you hearing on the 48?
I caught up with his wife this morning in the pit area, and she said they're really working on those second motos. That's where both of them have struggled, is coming into the second motos. The strength is coming back in his hand. They know it's not going to go anywhere because it is plated in that boxer brake he had. But as far as that second motos is what he's working on the most.
Yeah, so he started the year off really strong, was aiming at a third overall at round 2, and then he crashed. He had that small break in his hand. So now they're trying to rebuild the fitness to get through these second motos strong. And unfortunately, he spent a lot of energy in Moto 1 because of those early crashes, and he had to work his way forward. We'll catch back up to Dean Wilson. This would be great for him. His goal all along is to finish in the top 10 in motos. Right now, running 4th. But this is a rider who has been through so much the last couple of years. 6 years ago, he was our 250 national motocross champion. But it's been a tough road on the big bikes. And if you want to know everything there is to know about that comeback, you got to check out Red Bull.tv's MX Nation and its piece on Dean Wilson.
Of course, I want to be on the podium, but I'm just being a realist, and I feel like after everything that I've been through, starting the year as a privateer, all the injuries, my main goal is to make it through the full season healthy. I just had so many great people helping me, and if it wasn't for them, you know, I wouldn't be here now.
I'm there on the weekends mainly to support Dean and to make sure everything's, you know, done so he doesn't have to worry about anything besides getting on his dirt bike and racing. I make sure all of his races and practices are filmed, and I run them to him in between races so he can watch it because he likes to see like what he did wrong or what other people are doing and what he could be doing to better himself.
It's just a gnarly class. So I think if I can just try and be in the top 5 as much as I can, I think that would be a really great season.
And Dean Wilson, one of the most likable guys on the field. And, you know, it's tough for riders. Like you said, he was a national champion in the 250 class only, what was it, 6 years ago. And it's been year after year, knee injury, blow out another knee, another surgery, this and that. And when you've had that sort of success, it's really tough to hit rock bottom. And you can tell how motivated, how thankful, and how appreciative he is to be back on a factory team, and he's living up to those expectations of being a former champ.
Yeah, 4th place right now. That's impressive. Got Cooper Webb up ahead in 3rd. Blake Baggett has inherited 2nd after the big Marvin Musquin crash. And Eli Tomac, of course, out front. Now, if you're Baggett riding with a thumb injury, the goal, don't lose too many points to Tomac today. He'll take a 2-2 and only losing 6 if it ends like this. Back to your leader, Tomac, working his way through lap traffic. That's the Japanese rider, Tamita, who he's
23rd.
got through 23rd place, yeah. Scherer will be next in 22nd. Well, it's the dangerous point in the season that Tomac started to get it going at Muddy Creek and then last week at Redbud, because you knew going into Southwick that he was going to be hard to stop, and he lived up to that billing. So he might go into this weekend off with 5 straight moto wins and 3 straight overalls and the points lead.
And don't think the other guys aren't thinking about that. You know they are. And I think Tomac was expecting to come here and have a good day. It's going well so far. We don't want to jinx him. We know at this track, mechanicals, fuel. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a rider run out of fuel when they can see the finish line. And that's just the nature of the beast when you come to the wick. Once you turn up the wick, your gas mileage goes out of the window. And we saw that happen to Barsha in the first moto. And we know he's not the greatest on gas mileage because old Bam Bam Barsha is always in overrev. And I think probably burnt off just a little more gas than they were anticipating.
Well, the advantage that Tomac has here, and it's one you mentioned with the first moto, is like the Golden State Warriors, where they blow the field out so often that they don't even have to hustle at the end. They don't waste energy. Same thing. Tomac doesn't have to gas it too hard, push the bike to the limits, or himself, because he's able to build up this big of a lead, and he can play it a little more conservatively late in the race or late in the game. Tonight, the stars of NASCAR points with the new stage racing that they have this year.
And that's on a team that's kind of an underdog. You know, they're not one of the big teams like a Hendrick or Roush, but good for him. Good. But Jimmy Johnson, 7-time right behind him, so don't look over your shoulder just yet.
And Jimmy Johnson actually started here as a motocross racer. Watching Eli Tomac now putting together a dominant run. It was a little bit difficult early in this race here in Southwick, Massachusetts. He started 10th. And most of the riders who were considered as challengers today were ahead of him. He had to systematically make passes and get through. But he is so tough and so strong in this sand. Now, he's from Colorado, but the southern point of Colorado down by New Mexico. A lot of sand. Around. Boy, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's this year the track has developed just differently to I've ever seen it in the past 17 years. It's not as whooped out like when he was sand surfing there. It's more a little more hard pack and that choppiness. You saw the bike just, it looks nervous, like it's all over the place.
That's might not look immediately like a huge save, but you're on one of these motorcycles, those handlebars start going side to side like that on a straightaway. It's just as scary as something massive happening over a big jump. But Tomac able to control it. And the thing that amazes me most about these riders, they have those moments, they immediately put it behind them.
You have
to get right back on the power.
You cannot let that get to you. You've got to just move on.
Tomac, 16 seconds over his rival Baggett, who's just trying to salvage points today. Tomac, he's looking to sweep it for the second year in a row.
Tomac, yeah, you see a little shake of the head. I think he was trying to get out. Doesn't seem that impressed. Oh, is that Dowd?
I think it is. It's Ryan Dowd, John Dowd's son. Couldn't get by him.
We'll put it this way, it doesn't really matter who it is. If you feel like someone got in your way as a leader, you're never happy.
That's right. Hey, you're retired and you get mad when you're just watching this.
You know that old saying, you got to let it go? I'm trying to, Jason. I'm trying really hard.
No, you need to let it go. You need to let it go. All right, so Tomac just powering down here at the Monster Kawasaki, and a good job by this team to weather the storm of the early season, the woes, and stick together. They did the same thing in Supercross when they had some tough races at the beginning of the year. Let's check in with Cooper Webb. Wait, Webb lost spots. We had him in third, and now coming up on the screen in sixth, so I'm not sure if there was a problem or not.
There was. His last lap time, 2:55, so he lost 25 seconds. So.
Well, guess what it's going to do? This could put Dean Wilson on the overall podium today.
Oh, Dino. That'd be a huge boost for Dean Wilson, and I think a lot of people would be happy for him. Nothing against Cooper Webb. He wants a podium too. In fact, I think most people would have expected him to have one by now. But we'll have to see if we can find out what happened. Obviously, I'm assuming he went down. This track has claimed many a rider today. In fact, I think more riders have been on the ground than haven't. If you take practice in both motos.
So Webb, he's not done though. You can tell he's upset about this. He's charging down the stretch to try to make those positions back. He fell, goes from third back to sixth. Wilson, Davalos, Sealy got by. Martin Davalos, strong ride. Moving up to the 450 class this summer for the first time in his career, looking to finish in fourth. And the fans here in New England like to say their motocross track is wicked here at Southwick, Massachusetts, and it has claimed another victim. Cooper Webb here was running a solid third, looking for his first ever podium finish, top three finish on the big 450. He was last year's champion of the 250 class, the stepping stone to this. But late in this one, he has gone down, and now he is running in sixth, opening the door for Dean Wilson, who we profiled earlier. Dean has been trying to launch a career comeback after shoulder injuries, knee injuries, you name it. Any problem Dean Wilson could have, he's had it. He is now in position to go up to the stage third overall today, unless Webb can get the spots back and rally with 3 laps to go.
For every reaction is an opposite action. So for Cooper Webb, he went down. That put him off the podium. He's tied with Wilson, but Wilson will get it. Basically, it'll be a flip-flop. So a 6-3 and a 3-6. But for those of you kind of new to motocross, it's the second moto that supersedes the overall. So if you have a tie, whoever finishes ahead, second moto, will get the overall. For Webb, you know, he feels like he's owed a podium. You figure he's probably feeling like he should have had one by now. But if he can get around that number 14 of Cole Seeley, that'll change everything. But on the flip side, you've got to be happy for Dean Wilson. Multiple injuries over the last few years after being a national champion in the stepping stone class. And then coming up into the 450, knee injury. Went back to being a privateer before Rockstar Husqvarna team picked him up. And since they've done that, he's just slowly, methodically just gotten better and stronger all the way.
Now you saw the red 14. That was Cole Seeley coming through. Seeley is in 5th. That's the first rider Webb is going to have to try to get by. There is Webb out of North Carolina, 20 years old. And it has been a rough transition to the big bike for him, and it looked like today was going to be the day he finally broke through on that Monster Energy Yamaha. But he's got to go back to work. If he can catch Seeley, it will vault him back ahead of Wilson for 3rd overall today. 2 laps to go, and the gap between them is 5 seconds.
Yeah, it is shrinking the lap traffic. Oh, a little mistake there. Landed that soft stuff. Cooper Webb. And that's the hard part when you come up on a group of lap traffic. You just don't know where to go. Because look, someone's on the outside, someone's on the inside. Webb trying to figure it out. And these guys, when there's a group of lappers, they're getting that up far enough in the order that they're lapping riders in the points-paying positions. So these guys are fighting their own battle.
So Webb hitting lap traffic at the absolute wrong time. He's trying to launch a charge. Not just bad timing because of the lappers, but because the track is so rough right now. So huge bumps everywhere for him to deal with, and he's got to take some alternate lines and hit that stuff because the lappers are often where he wants to go. So it's a matter of digging deep for Webb. Gets around Dakota Tedder there in the 151, trying to catch Seeley. If he can pass him,
and then he's coming up overall. Well, Webb's coming up to lap Robbie Marshall. You heard that 2-stroke different sound. Back to the leader. Tomac just clicked off a 2:21. Baggett pretty much mirroring his time, but Wilson 2:19. I mean, basically, we can tell Tomac's toned it down.
Yeah.
But how about Dean Wilson last that round? Fastest rider on track. So the likable Scotsman in position for his first podium. He can't do much about the overall podium except stay where he is. Webb, he just has to get around Seeley, which I say just has to. It's still almost 7 seconds, which on the white flag is
it's going to be hard to make
unlikely.
Yeah. So Eli Tomac, whatever he does here at Southwick seems to work for him. Either class, and on this Kawasaki, he's got it dialed. He won this race last year. Now, most of the riders in this sport, they do it 2 ways. They spend half of the season in California with their teams. That's where all the motocross teams are based out of. And then most of them have a second home base in Florida so they can get used to riding in the heat and humidity. Except Tomac. He's from Colorado. He spends most of his year out there. And it seems to work for him. He's very isolated from the motocross social network. All these guys are on bicycle rides together, do motos together down in Florida or California. And then there's Tomac working away by himself. No one knows really too much about the program, but they all know that he is a rider to be feared when it comes to fitness and just general toughness. It's hard to stop this guy. And probably being born and raised in the altitude there in Colorado certainly doesn't help when it comes to endurance. And having his dad, John Tomac, gnarly in his own right as a mountain bike world champion in his day, probably doesn't hurt either. And Tomac has been a marked man for a long time. Even since he was about 8, 9 years old as an amateur, people saw this coming. It's taken a little while for him to put it all together, not just win races, but battle for championships in this 450 class. But he's beginning to take control after a wild first half of this championship. The question is, can someone respond? Well, the weekend off, and then we'll go racing in Millville, Minnesota. Someone has got to step up and stop this guy.
Yeah, everyone's tried, but no one's really succeeded so far.
For the second year in a row, Eli Tomac owns Southwick, Massachusetts. And the fans happy to see it. A virtuoso performance. He starts behind his rivals. He finishes ahead of them. Now the battle for the overall podium. Blake Baggett is going to finish second. It's going to come down to this for third. Cooper Webb trying to track down Cole Seeley. Tomac able to collect himself and head to the podium.
Yeah, he's at the podium as we wait for the riders to come through and finish. Baggett is going to end up second. You can hear the crowd. They are fired up here in New England.
He's not a local, but they certainly respect a strong performance when they see it. Joined up on the podium by some of the Kawasaki folks, and this will be 5 straight moto wins for Tomac, and he has certainly righted the ship after a tough go of it rounds 2 and 3. Had some bike problems, some crashes. He's certainly on top right now. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay.
Like you just said, Jason, 5th straight moto win, 2nd week in a row having the red plate. We know your program you run by yourself in Colorado. What is it about your program that seems to work so well for you?
I guess just, I don't know, I'm comfortable there, and you know, it seems like my practice track is good for all conditions, and one thing's for sure is I love the sand. I wish we had a few more on our outdoor circuit here, but at least we get to come here to Southwick. It was a great day for the whole team, Monster Energy Kawasaki. Man, I just love flowing through the berms and jumping over the holes and stuff. It's just a lot of fun here.
Huge congratulations, Eli Tomac. We did see he was having fun. He was using every inch of the track.
And he doesn't even look tired.